What's shaking, everybody? My name is Ross Mandell, and we're here for a very special visit with a fantastic young woman who is turning the sales world upside down. That's right. This is going to be a fantastic episode going public. I'm here with Kayla Hodges. What's up, baby? How are you?
Hey Ross, this is a great introduction. I'm just going to sit back and let you do the whole thing. This is amazing.
It's so nice to meet you today.
It's so nice to meet you too, man. I've been seeing your stuff online and how you're showing up. I love your heart and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish and helping people. I think it's great.
That's what it's all about. I spent my whole life as a taker, one of those Wall Street
Mm,
guys, one of the bad boys of Wall Street, all that good stuff. And now I'm determined to give back, to educate, to share a lifetime or a body of knowledge with the world, young men, young women. But 31 years old, oops, shouldn't have said that.
I don't mind.
Arizona, women are better salespeople than men.
Oh my
What?
God.
I have so many Wall Street friends that said, "You hear what that chick said? What?" And it it really instigated a lot of thought. I want you to know that,
Mhm.
and that's what a lot of controversial things do, right? You
Yeah.
get attention. You got attention,
hmm
and I really had a chance to think about it. And I think I'm on the verge of agreeing with you.
Okay, good.
Tell us where that comes from.
Well, no, I saw a study that was regarding like women and their ability to close. And there was also lots of studies where people take big corporations, took their sales teams, and were like looking at how many times these people were having conversations and closing rates. And there was just a big increase on women's ability to close, right? The closing ratio. I think that there's a difference because I think men have the ability to work harder than women, right? And I think that they're wired that way, but women have these natural abilities that help them close higher. First of all, like relationship building, they're intuitive. We naturally have intuition. We can feel if something's off. We can ask what's behind that. We listen with the intention of understanding. We're naturally curious. There's different things. We're empathic. We care. So when it comes to certain aspects of sales and then certain aspects of building relationships, we're just more intentional, and we can get in the door way easier too. So there's gives and takes. And I think that guys do really well in one's atrospect and women do really well in another atrospect, and finding your strengths and working with them help you close more.
I love it. I love, the way you posited that. I'm going to have to take that apart at some level because you can really talk. Let me just tell you. I can't imagine there are too many guys that are selling you. That's for sure.
They try, Russ. They try.
I'm sure they do. And I will say that I'm the father of two daughters.
Amazing. How old are
So
your girls?
right now they're 24 and 21.
Okay,
And
fantastic.
they slap me around, they slap me silly. I'm almost helpless in front of them. And I have an ex-wife who she's a beautiful girl. I mean, she was always stunning, and I was a very, very successful stockbroker, banker, trader on Wall Street. One of the most eligible bachelors of my time in New York City, and she was
So you didn't
stunning.
have fun at all.
Too much. I've been accused of having too much fun. I think that's why they locked me up because I have too much fun, even to this day. But and I believe in having fun. I believe in living life to the fullest. Like I say to people, look, this is not a dress rehearsal. This
Yeah,
is your life. You don't get a do-over. There's no mulligan like
yeah.
in golf. I have friends we play golf. They hit the ball, they shank it. They're like, "All right, I'm calling mulligan." I'm like, "What's mulligan?" He goes, "A do-over." I mean, okay, that's
That's so
that's
do
a
over.
game people play, right? You get a do-over when you decide. But in life, we do not. This is it, babe. This is our
Yeah.
life. And I'm so impressed with you. Not that we know each other, we're just meeting for the first time, but what I witnessed on social media, that you posited that, and now you supported it with a very interesting argument. And there were two aspects of what you had to say, because I don't buy too much into that whole there's a study thing, because I've
Yeah.
been anybody can say I'm doing a study. I did a study today. I spoke to three knuckleheads in the conference room, and we decided on something. We came to some conclusion, and so we came to the Miami study, the knucklehead group. But you said two things that I think were really, they got me. And I only heard one of them just now. One of them instigated a lot of thought on the social media post that you made, because they did a reaction video. So they put me in a studio and
Yeah.
they hand me a phone and they make me watch someone's post. And I'm not allowed to cheat, and they don't give me any heads up. They really want my reaction. And one of them was you
Yeah.
making this declarative statement. And, I teach sales. I'm considered a pretty good salesman. I've raised billions of dollars. I've done deals with household name billionaires for 30 years. And I would never say that about myself, except, in this sort of context, but it's been said about me, right?
Hmm.
But one of the most important ingredients in selling, and I try to teach guys this, and you're right, women tend to do this better, is listen.
Hmm.
Women, in my mind, are much more patient, generally speaking, and are much better listeners. I consider most men, I don't want to use the word stupid, but, I have little girls. So when we were raising our daughters, the girls like were 3 and 6 or 2 and 5, and they were like little people already. They
Yeah.
would sit and they would listen, and they'd say, "Hi, Dad," and they talk to me. And then the little boys would come over for like play dates, and the boys were running around in circles, hyperventilating, running into walls, climbing things, throwing things, fighting. You know what I mean? And the little girls are, playing dress up, practicing walking down the aisle when they're 5 years old. I always tell them, I said, "What
Yes.
chance do you think you have?" My kids have been rehearsing their wedding day since they're 3 years old, fighting over who's going to wear the dress, who's going to be the maid of honor, who's going to pick out
Hmm.
the bridesmaids' outfits, and practicing this shit. And little men, we go in the world and we think we're getting over. We got this hot girl, and she's my girlfriend, and this and that. And like men are under the assumption that we got you, and that's like a big joke. Having been married and now divorced, I learned that I thought I was getting, and I told this story. It's probably inappropriate, but that's the kind of guy I am. um, you know, um, you know, she worked for the boss. She
Hmm.
slept with the boss.
Hmm.
Now she's the boss,
Yeah.
and that's just the way I think it seems to work out. And I always believed that women are the strongest sex. I really do. And I think women are naturally smarter. But you just used the word before, and I want you to just share about it a little bit. You said women are more empathic.
Hmm.
Tell us what that means.
Yeah. Empathy, right? Like being able to try to put yourself in someone's shoes and feel what they're feeling, right? The best aspect of that. Some people are typically can develop the ability to be empathic, typically from trauma as well, where you can actually feel other people's feelings. It can be like even more intense, right? But that's a whole nother conversation. But being able to actually give a fuck, right? and
Yeah.
and care about what somebody is saying and have the ability, I'm frozen. I love that. So ha- having the ability to,
Her picture's frozen on the screen. Oh, there
yeah,
she
I
is. I
see that.
see her
There we
now.
go. Perfect. All right. So having the ability, to actually care about what someone's going through and try to understand, right? If you are really great in sales, like you understand your prospect situation better than anybody else, and having that ability to where you really understand it and you care enough to ask about questions, they feel like you're the expert because you care enough to ask about what's going on and actually care about what they're going through. And I think that's really, really important, actually caring about people who you're talking to and making people feel important. There's so many people walking around today that wish they had somebody that could make them feel like they mean something. They're all walking around wanting to feel important. And we have the ability, all of us humans, to stop for 1 second and give somebody our presence and actually care. But empathy is actually putting yourself in their shoes and actually trying to feel how they feel.
I like that. Now, I know a lot of women that are empathetic, that are empaths, and I know a lot of women that are cold-hearted, bad. I don't want to, terrible word, bitches, right? But cold-hearted women. I know the whole thing. I've had
Yeah.
a lot of experience in my life with women. I've been sort of a runaround guy. I didn't get. I got married when I was 41 years old. Was never
Okay.
engaged, never married, but I was always in a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
I always had all kinds of relationships and meaningful relationships with some amazing women. The thing was that I was never ready, and then one
Mm.
day I woke up and I was lonely and I wanted a wife and I wanted to start a family. And then guess what?
Well,
Just because I decided I didn't have a woman in my life at that point, so I actually went out and I decided to look for the right woman. And I was
mm.
in my mid 30s. I was very wealthy and successful. And, uh, I was young and healthy and all these good things, but that doesn't mean the world wasn't, no one was, they weren't coughing up a woman. So I went through a series of relationships that I felt were wrong. Looking back now, you look back, right?
Yeah.
When you're in the heat of the moment, you might feel like it's not perfect or whatever, but with the benefit of time, you look back at your high school boyfriend, right? And you say, what? When I was your age, and you're like, you know what I mean? What was I thinking? Or he was a really great
Yeah.
guy, or this and that. But I agree with some of the things you're saying strongly. Women, I think, are great natural listeners and are more deeply caring people. I think they really are. There are many more women that are empaths than men, I'd say.
Mm.
Men are hung up on a lot of different stuff tied to ego and
Yeah.
this philosophy that the male has to do this, the male has to be that. I was raised saying that you never share your feelings. You pick yourself up by your bootstraps. You're the man. You don't show. You go out and you earn and you provide, and it doesn't matter what you're going through. And I had a wife that said, I don't want to hear it." I married a traditional girl who I met at work who just wanted to be a homemaker,
Yeah.
and she wanted to raise a family and take care of her family and provide in her way. Like I gave her the house and she made it a home. You know,
Mm.
I you know I gave her children and she made us a family. Like just she naturally has that knack, and I'm just thinking about you know business, money, what I considered manly things, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the interesting things is before I took the plunge, I was in therapy. I went through 7 years of psychiatry,
Mm.
and I learned that the most important thing in a relationship, once you get past the physical, there's got to be the chemistry, the attraction, all these different things, but is to have common goals. Because when you're with somebody, there's no question over time you're going to sort of drift away from each other if you're talking about, a long relationship.
Hmm.
But if you have common goals, you'll be drifting in the same direction.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned. And I want to hear about Courtney Hodges because I know all about me. And I want to know a little bit about who you are, where you came from. I said Kayla Hodges. I said Courtney. Can you imagine?
It's okay.
I actually know a Courtney Hodges from social media, and she's a wonderful girl. She's a really spectacular human being. But where were you born? Where were you raised?
Yeah. Texas girl. So
A
from
Texas
Houston,
girl.
Texas girl.
I'm
Yes.
shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked
uh,
right now. Where in
really,
Texas? I'm
Houston.
shocked.
Yeah. Very
Houston.
Southern belle, Southern, very a big family, all that stuff. So,
Is the family
dad's
still
a
in Houston?
pastor. Yeah.
Your dad's a pastor?
Yeah.
What? I'm
Yeah, I know.
shocked right now.
I know. Good girl. And grew up there and I think that I've had a lot of unfortunate events in my life that have made me so strong. And, I feel like life, we get to control our story. And, I had my daughter when I was 19 and,
What? A
yeah, I have a
pastor's
little girl.
daughter?
Yeah, I know. My dad would try to take apart my car. It was great.
This is scandalous.
So scandalous, right? Not the
I
traditional
love it.
thing.
I love
I
it.
get married. I get married really young. My dad forces me to get married. He says like my house is cursed if I don't get married. I get married. My husband turns out to be like a abusive alcoholic. I had no idea. So I went
What?
through all of that. I know.
My
It's so fun.
God.
Went through that and then like had to go back and start taking care of me. So the first thing I did was like a bodybuilding competition. I really wanted to like feel powerful. So I did that one, went to nationals, and I really felt like I controlled that and I learned discipline, but I didn't know how to make money. And I felt like lost, really lost. I got an opportunity to be a spokesmodel for Lamborghini Houston. And there I met my first mentor. So, my first mentor there, I found this guy that said that he knew Tony Robbins personally. I'm like, how the hell do you
Okay.
know him? Right. And I used to listen to Tony like on the treadmill when I was getting prepared for these competitions. And he turned out to have a mentor, which was Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins' mentor. And that was also this guy's personal mentor was Jim Rohn.
Correct.
And yeah, and I was like, how do you get a mentor like that? I was so hungry. Like when you're young, you're so hungry, you do anything to
I
be
get it.
successful.
I get it.
And he's like, if you go home and you listen to this seminar called The Challenge to Succeed by Jim Rohn 10 times, I'll have a conversation with you. And I did. And I messaged him. I'm like, one down, nine to go. And I was listening to it. I was obsessed. And he met me at this coffee shop. And I'm there, I'm crying, telling him all the reasons why my life sucks and why I couldn't be successful, yada, yada. And he's like, I want you to come work for me. So it was a Friday. That Monday, I quit school. I was back in school with a 4.0 in biochem pre-med. I quit school. I quit my job. I quit my personal training business. And I started in B2B sales. So that
Okay.
was my first sales job. And it was awful. It was so bad.
Well, what do you expect?
And it was so bad. But I was like, I can't go back to being a waitress because I was a waitress in fine dining before that. And so I worked my ass off. I woke up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, studying, learning, training, and then working and taking care of my daughter at night and doing it over and over and over again. And I started getting good. I started making money, bought my first sports car, thought everything was going great. And then COVID hit. I lost everything again. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And I was still in Texas at the time.
So
And
all this happened in Houston, Texas?
yeah, all in Houston.
Okay.
And then at the time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out, And I was training and doing a lot of NLP, strategic intervention. I worked on Tony Robbins' career team for 3 years. And I'm like, man, I want to learn like how to help people break through their stuff, like mentally. How do they do that? And I found this program that was going to teach me how to train online. And it was like 12 grand. And I had no money anymore. I maxed out my credit cards. I was done. And because when you start making money, you've never made money before, you start spending it, right? So I was blowing
Correct.
cash. And I was like, this is not my life. And so I looked at my little apartment, my daughter, and I'm like, screw it. And I sold everything that I owned. My bed, her bed. We slept on the ground that night. I sold like purses, shoes, mirrors, everything. And I packed up my little 2-door Audi TTS and I drove from Texas to Miami. I knew no one. Stayed in an
Miami.
Airbnb room. Miami. Yeah,
I'm in
Miami's
Miami
lovely.
right now. I wish
Amazing.
you
I'll
would have
be back.
stayed.
I'll be there in a couple weeks.
I'd
Yeah.
love to
So
meet you.
amazing. Yeah. Where are you
What a
guys at? Are you Brickell or where are you at?
We're in the office is in Doral,
Okay.
and
That's
I have it.
far.
And yeah, I live in Boca Raton. That's farther in
Yeah.
Boca Raton, and I have a studio in Delray as well.
Okay. Great. Okay. So you're on the
Yeah.
west side. Yeah. So I moved there, knew no one. I stayed in Airbnb rooms. I got my first, got my first kind of sale, got my own place there and, went into a B2C job because I was like, I need to figure out how to do this. And so then I'm dialing 220 dials a day. And I'm like trying
Okay.
to figure it out and worked there for a while, started crushing it, started doing well. And I'm like, you know what? I want to try to go start my own thing. And I failed miserably at it. And then I went into event sales and ticket sales. So I had a team of 14 guys and we were dialing for dollars on ticket sales. We were doing 800K a month. I was running them. And I was putting up numbers on the board too, because now I was competing with them. And I did back of the room sales too, event sales. And then that was really great. And then I went to go start my own company. Had a business partner. I got screwed over a couple times, learned how to do paperwork and that stuff. I had my
Yep.
company acquired, and then I had it given back to me, and now I'm here. So it was really interesting. This whole journey has been.
Wow,
And
what a
now I
story.
yeah, I have 5 girls in my house right now, dialing right now, and we're in a big sales house, and I think I have 14 women on my team right now, and
What are you
yeah, just
selling? What are you
so
selling
we do
right now?
sales training for women. So we have 5 different training programs. We do B2B sales, B2C sales, door-to-door sales, B2G, and so all different industries, and training how to write scripts. We do like lots of call reviews. And then one thing that we do that's really cool that I don't know anybody else that does this, but I feel it's really important, is the biggest thing that we saw was inconsistency in numbers with women. One month they do really great. The next month they don't. One month they do awesome. Then one day they have a bad day and they don't sell. Oh, now one's going through a divorce and now she can't perform. And like, oh, some kid's sick and now so we're really emotional beings. And so one thing that we do for our ladies is we do a lot of inner work at the same time, because my background's in that. So like giving them some tools to where they can focus at work and actually get done what they need to get done, and not become cold hard bitches like you were talking about, because that means that they are in masculine energy all the time. So learning how to be in their feminine energy and be a woman and be in the masculine they need to be at the same time. So that's kind of what we do, and it's really fun.
Wow. Wow. I love your ability to communicate all that in such a specific yet interesting fashion, like in a nutshell. I mean, I feel like I just watched an infomercial.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
I'm so impressed with your ability to deliver that much information in such
Oh,
a
thank you.
cognitive, clear fashion. I really got a good handle on it. A couple of quick questions.
Yeah, give
So
it to me.
your dad was a pastor, huh?
Yeah.
In Houston. What
Hmm.
denomination? Like, what was your church?
He's still non-denominational. He is a pastor for like some retirement home. He's been there for what, 12, 13 years or something like that now. Every Sunday I see him go live and I watch him. Um,
Really? Still?
yes,
And
yes.
it's
Every
Christian, right?
Sunday.
It's Christian,
Yes.
right? It's Christian
Yeah,
faith, not
yeah.
Catholic, but Christian. Is that
Not
fair to
Catholic
say?
Christian. Yes.
Okay, because I'm a Jewish guy, so I always try to understand all these different things. I believe that any and all religious training is good, it's positive, as long
Hmm.
as you preach certain values. God or higher power. I'm a very
Yeah.
spiritual type of guy, and you talk about family, and you talk about the value of relationships and being good, and all these kind of things. I think it doesn't matter what you call God or what you call
Yeah.
religion, as long as you're talking about good values and solid principles. I think it's one of the things that's gone
Yeah.
awry in this country.
It has.
People are fucking out of their minds. I got to tell you. I mean, just living whatever fantasy or desire, and they're basically calling it rights and this and that. It's
Hmm.
just. I think
Well,
it's a
people are
giant hot mess.
disconnected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that I went through a period. I was a God. I like to say my story. I was a God fearing kid. At 16, my father dropped dead very suddenly.
Wow.
And I found out the next day that everything we owned we were living the American dream. Everything was mortgaged, borrowed, or leased. And I got angry, and I became angry,
Yeah.
and I became like
Well,
a
I'm
raging
sure.
drug addict. I was an athlete. I was a bodybuilder. I did all those same type of things. I acted out the same way you did. So I really get you, I think. And you have a
Mm.
tremendous ambition, a tremendous drive. You want more for you. And what's your daughter's first name?
Her name's Claire.
Claire?
Yes, Claire.
Claire Hodges? I love it.
Claire, her name's Claire Pinkerton, but yeah, her name is Claire. She's a little spitfire. She also knows how to negotiate, and she knows how to objection handle. She's convincing me. She's like, "Mom, please put me on the phones. I'm ready." So, but yeah, just a little
I'm
spitfire,
dying.
and she's just
I'm
ready. Her
fucking dying.
teachers, she'll negotiate herself out of homework at school.
Yeah, my kids
Like,
too. Negotiated getting out of
so
school
good.
altogether. I never heard of such a
Hmm.
thing. I never heard of such a thing. I would say, Mom, I don't want to go to school. She goes, You going to school? Mom, I was really sick. No, you're going. My kids, Mom, I don't want to go. Okay, let's go to the mall. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, what? I'm like, they never have a problem. And God forbid they get a B plus. Mom, this teacher is unreasonable. I mean, let me call. She gets on the phone. She calls the school. Next thing you know, she has an A. But so I get that. What a princess she must be. You're a princess, right? And you're her guardian angel.
Yeah, no, I protect that little girl with everything
Is
I
she is
have for
she a
sure.
redhead? Is
She's
she a
not.
redhead?
She's no, she's blonde. I was blonde too growing up. And so when red
Okay,
what like 6 years ago or so and haven't
but
gone back. I just really like it.
it suits you.
Thank you.
It
Thank you.
really suits you. And I would just I wouldn't lie, but I would have avoided the subject if you asked. But it really suits you. You know.
Thank you.
So that's really cool stuff. So you moved all the way to Miami, but you found your way back. Now you're in Arizona. What's that all about? How'd you end up in Arizona?
Ross, this is a long story.
But
Okay, it's
with
just
this
not.
whole team,
Yeah. So I fell in love and moved out here. And I thought I met the guy that will be with me for the rest of my life. And I don't know what's going on with that right now. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'm just like, all right, God, I trust you. And this is the universe and support me with whatever I'm doing. And,
that's the
and that's all
perfect
I'm
thing to
going to
do.
do. Yeah.
Perfect.
Because I don't know. Because I feel like sometimes people like they go through things and they get scared or they go through moments and I don't know, it's not up to me. What I think that's really important is to be sovereign in who I am at all times, and just trust the process. And the past 6 weeks I've been getting really close to God.
That's
And
beautiful.
I
That's
haven't been
beautiful.
drinking. Thanks. I stopped drinking for a cleanse about 6 weeks ago, and so I feel really mentally just grounded and clear. And I feel like my life is shoken up in different areas right now that I don't understand. And so I'm just really just trying to trust. And I'm like, okay, like, what am I supposed to do? Guide me, God. Like, I have no idea. And I'm just trying to like take one day at a time and be in a place where I'm just like, being grounded and being happy and, being in a state of where I'm in a loving, beautiful state at all times, regardless of what my outside circumstances look like, and just trusting the process.
Are you a friend of Bill?
Bill, who?
Okay, that was the only
Walsh
question. That's
or
like,
who?
no, that's like sort of a code question.
Oh,
So
okay.
Bill is a Bill Wilson, was a
Okay.
New York stockbroker, and he wrote a book. He published a book in 1935 called Alcoholics Anonymous,
Mm.
AA, the
Okay.
12-step program. So when you speak to somebody and you want to see if somebody goes to meetings,
Okay.
is
Yeah,
in
no,
the
I'm not.
program, we say in code, "Are you a friend of Bill?" And most
Mm.
people say, "Bill who? Bill Burke? Bill Walsh?" But it's just to say, if you would have said yes, I would have blown your anonymity, right? If you said, "Oh
Ah,
yes, I know, yes, I am a friend of Bill," and we said, "But how long?" You say, "Oh, I met Bill 6 weeks ago, 8 months ago, whatever." You understand what I mean? It's pretty
okay,
cool.
cool.
But if you don't know, you don't know. But everything you've
Yeah.
just said is really beautiful, and I want you to know that I lived my life when I was 33. I
Mm.
went to a 28-day program at a rehab because I clearly had a drug problem. And I learned through taking the 12 steps that I'm in the effort business. I'm not in the result business. I'll say that again. I'm in the effort business,
Mm.
not the result business. I do the best that I can.
Yeah.
And if you do the best that you can, God will do for you what you can't do for yourself. However,
That's really fun.
if you short step it or you want to sit on the couch a little bit, fuck around, right? Then God has to do for you what you could be doing for yourself. And therefore, God's not producing that miracle for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, my God created the universe. He could do anything.
Yeah.
There's no miracle too much to ask for. And I ask for big things. And if you don't ask for big things, you don't get big things. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
If you ask for little things, you're going to get, if you're lucky, you get little things. I ask for big things. Sometimes I get little things. But the point is, you got to think big. You got to ask big. My God is big. I'm in the effort business. The result business, maybe something went wrong. I've had things in my life, go wrong or shut down. I'm pissed and angry. I'm an animal. I'm still not. God closes the door. I'm still trying to figure out how to knock the door down and bang it on that door and pick the lock. But the truth
Yeah.
is, sometimes you have to spend a few minutes in the hallway. And for guys like me and you, that's painful.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting, it took me like, 50 years, is an option.
Yeah.
It's a decision. It's an action. It's not doing nothing. So I'm a kind of guy that waiting means I'm fucking around. I'm lazy. I'm not doing something. But waiting is sometimes the best thing you can do.
Hmm.
When one door is closed, sometimes you got to move down the hallway.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I also think that it's really interesting. Hold on really fast. Here you go, guys. Team's asking you something. Um, I think what's also really important is like sitting in the mess of life, and also being a responsibility at the same time,
I get it.
right? And like being in leadership, and you get it, like you're a dad, and being a dad and a leader, and now you're speaking out to all these young people, it's like life still hits us hard sometimes, and learning how to be in that
Yes,
both and situation and be like, all right, like, yeah, this is happening, and I also get to show up as my most authentic self. I get to show up as a leader. I get to show up powerfully, and I get to process stuff at the same time, and I think that there's a both and versus it being like, oh, like I need to remove myself, or, oh, I'm going to pretend like everything's perfect. Because that's what so many of us on social media do. We pretend like life is so perfect all the time. That's simply not true. And being able to be in the both and of that, and the waiting, especially when we don't want to wait, and it's frustrating to wait, especially for doers. I mean, like, I get my shit done now. Like, this is what I want. I'm going
exactly.
after it. And so we can't do that. It's like feeling like our hands are tied behind our back, and learning how to trust in that
Right.
as well.
So I feel like I always have to act. I'm taking action, but waiting means doing nothing for a minute, finding my own serenity, my own inner peace. It's the hardest thing in
Yes.
the world for me to do. Sometimes I say, all right, and I managed to wait one day, and then I come in down to Miami to the office here, and I start unloading on people, and they're like, "Bro,
Yeah.
we just spoke about this yesterday." I said, "But I didn't bother you for 24 hours because I'm such a psycho about certain things. I want to get things done. But
Yeah.
I see you have that in you, but I also see that you beat yourself up a little bit. You're
In
really
terms of
hard on
what?
yourself.
Oh, well,
You
yeah, of
you're
course.
really hard on yourself. Now,
Can
quick
can I
question.
tell you why?
Yes, I want to hear. I do. I really want to hear.
Because I feel like since I've been a little girl, that God has placed this huge like destiny on my life, like to impact so many people. And I remember walking up to my mom at 12 years old and crying and saying, Mom, I don't want to do it. And I remember it was the most oddest feeling for me because she was like, What are you talking about? I was like, I don't want to do it because I knew that I was about to have to go through a lot of stuff to become the woman that I am today. And that's really weird, but like I just remember it so vividly. And I went through hell and back, and I continue to go through hell and back, and I continue to have like different things in my life that stretch me to who I'm going to be. But I also know that I have the ability to make women feel seen and feel important, and I have the ability to light hearts. Like my fire lights other people's fire, and
I love
that's
it.
so precious to me. And I'm willing to continue to do whatever the hell I have to do, or whoever the hell I have to be, in order to be that woman. All the sacrifices, all the a heartache, all the hardships, like everything that I have to do to continuously peel layers of myself that don't serve me so I can be that woman, like I will do that.
I love that. Now, quick question. So, Pinkerton's been long out of the picture, right?
Yes. I was a
Okay.
teenager.
No, I
Yeah.
understand, but I'm just trying to understand. So, I just want you to know this: whoever you're dealing with right now, if he doesn't have the wisdom to see what he has with you, that's his loss. I promise you that. You're a
Yeah.
spectacular young woman, and I'm an
Thank you.
excellent judge of character. A lot of things have been said about me. A lot of things have been written about me. They made TV specials about me, all these different things. But the one thing everybody agrees on is that I have a spectacular eye for talent. And I think you've
Good.
got you are whatever it is, you got it.
Thank
Whatever it
you.
is, you got it. I'm telling you that right now. So you moved to Arizona. It's a long story. You don't want to share with me how you ended up in
Yeah.
Scottsdale. But
Yeah.
you're sitting there, you have 5 women on the phone, you have a team of 14 women.
Yeah.
How'd you get all of them to Scottsdale? I'm trying to
I threw a
understand.
competition. Well, I was like, hey, I'm doing a competition and I'm getting you all, you're going to come here and you're going to stay in a house with me, and whoever wins gets to be on my team at the end, whoever sells the most. So they all got down here. and I'm flying them all out. So we're heading to Miami next week, all of us.
Really?
Yes.
Where are you
All of
staying
us.
in Miami?
I just got approved for a condo. I signed the lease today.
So you're buying a condo in Miami.
Well, I rented a condo, but I
You
signed
rent
it
it.
today.
Well, then
Yeah.
you're gonna have coffee with me, correct?
Yes.
I want to meet the
I'll
team
have
because
coffee with you
you're
for
telling
sure.
me that if I fly in and I get to compete with everybody and I win, that I can move in with you. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
You're going to be part of the sales team.
Oh,
Congratulations, Ross. You're going to be
I
now.
am a sales. I'm like a walking sales team. I want you to know that for
Perfect.
real.
Perfect. We also
What are
give
we
away
selling?
pairs of shoes. We give away pairs of shoes if you hit certain sales quotas. So
You won't even
you,
believe what I'm just going to tell you. So, uh, this is about 15 years ago. I was producing, working with some people. They were doing a reality show on my reality, and
okay.
the producer that I work with had everybody in Boca Raton and Delray, Palm Beach. I mean, fancy people, right? High end. Everybody's very rich. Everybody's got 10,000 square foot homes.
Yeah.
Everybody's a millionaire. They can doing this gala event. Mercedes in Delray gave them the
Nice.
whole place, moved all the cars out, and they had like 600 people. They sold tickets for like a few $100s, a charity event. It was called All About Shoes.
Mm.
They wanted to. This is when the thing with Haiti happened, with the earthquake and all these different things.
Okay.
And on the TV, we had pictures of kids that had no shoes. Nobody had shoes.
Wow.
I don't know what happened to everybody's shoes in an earthquake. But this was about raising money for the shoes. And I'm in bed. I have the flu. I bought tickets. I never intended to go anyway between us. Scott, don't get pissed if you watch this podcast, but I had no interest. But I wrote a check and all those good things. I'm literally in bed. I'm sick. I'm like redder than I am now, and I have a little fever and all that. And I get a call from him, and I said, "Oh shit, he's trying to get me to go." And the wife says, "You got to take it." I take it, pick it up. He goes, "I need your help." He says. I'm like, "Oh." He says the MC's flight got canceled. He was flying in from like Asheville, North Carolina. I need you to come in and host this event. I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, I have no MC. I have 600 people coming. There's a huge party going on. Everybody's. I need you to MC the event. It's called All About Shoes. And I have the video from that. Nelson, I have to give you that video. It's unbelievable. So I'm like, I don't even remember what it's all about. You know, tell me what's the story about shoes for kids in Haiti. It's all these fancy Palm Beach women that want to feel good about themselves because
Yes.
they go out for lunch and spend $3,000 a week on lunch, and they play tennis in their nice little, Versace and Hermes outfits,
Yes.
but we provided thousands of pairs of shoes for these kids in Haiti. So I'm so sick, and it's an auction, and it's like raising money, and that's what I've been doing my whole life anyway. So, and I got out of it. I said I don't want to do it, and the wife made me do it. So I went. We went there, and we had great publicity, and I did a pretty bang up job. But you just made me, I'm pretty good at raising money for shoes. You want to sell shoes? What are we
Perfect.
doing? What's the plan?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm doing a big event next week, right? So Tuesday through Saturday, we're doing an event called Closing Deals and Heels. So it's a women's sales event. It's free, 4 days online. And with all the competitors in there, we give away a pair of Louboutins. And then we're going to sell
Ooh.
stuff on the back end, right? And so if you become like part of our program or our membership, all of our girls are going to be dialing at the end, trying to help these girls get the training that they're needing. And then we have our own internal like goals and stuff to get your own pairs of shoes. So,
Well, it's 2024. You're aware of this, right?
yes.
You're aware of all this, right? So, you know, if if I feel like a woman next week, I identify as a woman.
You can identify as a bear. Come on.
You, you're not gonna bar me from this event.
No,
I
you can come
qualify,
for
right?
sure. You can come.
We once had a party where all the men were dressed up like women and all the women dressed up like men, and I was pretty hot with my little dress on and a nice wig.
Oh my
You
God,
know,
Ross, when was that event?
true story. There was a movie that came out called Victor Victoria
Okay.
about these gay people, and Julie Andrews was a famous actress and singer and all these things,
Hmm.
and so everybody, it was very cool to have like Victor Victoria parties. So you invited everybody, you created an invitation. All the men came like dressed as women. It was a cool thing for a minute. Now they have white parties. Everybody has to wear white.
Yes.
Well, I look fat in white.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
No.
So I have to wear my shirt out and blouse it, all these good things. But this is fascinating. So you're building a sales team, basically empowering women, training women, giving women esteem. I think selling is the single most important skill.
Yeah.
Not just in business, in socialization.
Yes.
I became a popular kid at one point because I determined that it's something I wanted to do, and it was just selling. And selling is all about confidence. It's all about presence. It's all about charisma. People don't understand selling. The verbal part of selling is just a fraction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a physical salesman. I use body language. I use tone, inflection, cadence. I have an awkward sort of staccato style. I have a front page of the Wall Street Journal, March 14th, 1996. I have a Long Island patois. When I went public in London and in Europe, they all said to me, "Are you a member of the Soprano family?"
Oh my
Because
God.
of the way I speak, they thought I was a gangster. And the reason is, and I'll give you an example for selling purposes. When I first went down to Wall Street in 1983 at E.F. Hutton, you probably weren't even born yet, right? And we started cold calling. I was in a room with 120 people. And at that time, you couldn't just get into the stock market. There wasn't open like this. Cold calling had just began. And everybody was a lawyer, an accountant, CPA, or an MBA. And out of the 130 people, I was like one of the only people that wasn't one of those three. But I sort of just pitched my way in. I said, "Listen, I'm hungry. I just want this, and I just don't take no." And I sat in a room, and everybody was pitching, and some of these guys were so slick. They're so smooth.
Yeah.
The command of their command of the English language, the words that they put together, the way they did it. I was like talking to myself, bro, forget it. So instead of trying to up my game, I decided to actually lower my game a little bit, to be a little bit more base, a little bit more streety, a little less refined.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out today in social media, they call it authentic. So I'm more authentic, and I found that it was very effective because I've always been underestimated. Although when you encounter some sales guy and he's talking shit like, "What? Who the fuck are you?" I mean, it sounds too canned, too prepared, too fake. I learned to talk to people, to communicate with people, and to feel with people, because I have some empathy in me, and I'm told I'm a narcissist, so it's the perfect combination. And that's something I just want to caution you, based on just our little interaction.
Yeah.
You're going to attract narcissists, I believe.
Yep.
Men.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yes.
I'm really good when it comes to these components. Men that really have these narcissistic tendencies. I have a friend that calls me a narc. All these different things, but I'm just me. I'm too old to worry about all this shit right now.
Yeah.
And but I feel like you're going to attract that kind of a man because you're an accomplished, confident woman now. But deep down, you're still that little girl in Houston that cried to her mama when she was 12 and said, "I wish someone would just fucking take care of me."
Yeah.
But you're not that girl. But deep down somewhere that she still lives, But I love what you're doing. I have daughters. I would love for them to speak to you one day or know who you are. And my oldest daughter is a fucking beast. She decided to become a technology recruiter, didn't know one thing about it, and now out of like 150 people in her firm, she's number 3.
Good.
She's bringing in over $20,000 in revenue a week to her firm. She's doing this 2 years, and she's just a fucking killer. Dad, I close another deal. Dad, I close another deal. Dad, Dad, you know, Dad,
Oh, you're
don't look at my
proud,
spread.
huh?
Don't look at my spread this week, Dad, because I lost a few guys fell off, but don't worry, I'm going to pick up this, that, the other. She just made legends. I'm so proud of her. They have all these scammy
That's so
little
good.
levels you can meet. Rather than give her the money, they give her a trip and they give her, a story and give you a title. There's a
Yeah.
lot of ways to skin a cat in business. But my youngest daughter wants to be an attorney now. That's her new thing. And like you say, these I don't know, little girls are very skilled in the art of negotiation. It's crazy,
Hmm.
and all these good things. Claire must be unbelievable. She's like in seventh grade, going into eighth
Yeah,
grade.
seventh grade. She's in
Okay,
volleyball, violin, voice lessons, dance, and every little thing. So
it's crazy,
smart.
right?
Yeah,
It's crazy, all the different things, right?
so
You
many
know,
things. I have no idea how she does it all for sure.
she's your daughter.
Yeah, that's true.
She's your
There you go.
daughter. Now she's with you, right, full time, right, 100%.
Yes. Yeah.
She's coming to
All the way.
Miami.
All the way. Yes, we're ready. She's ready.
I
Ready to go.
really hope I get to meet you when you're in town. I'm willing to go out of my way. I would love to meet you guys.
Yeah, please. I don't know how we
It's
can connect. Let me make sure I have your information before I get off
and
this thing.
I'll
But
do
yeah.
what I can to promote you. Okay, so if there's anything I
Thanks,
can
Ross.
do, I have a feeling that in like 30 days, my I'm going to sort of be everywhere between all the media buys and Bradley and
Nice.
Lightspeed and all these different things that are coming. Right. I
Oh,
did like a lot
good.
of podcasts. These guys have 12 million followers on Instagram, 700,000 subscribers here, there. I mean, the
Yeah,
level of eyeballs that are available today is spectacular,
that's
right? We
amazing.
didn't have any of
Super
this in my
incredible.
day. We didn't have in
Yeah.
my day. I actually had to go talk to a girl. All women do is text. So I call people. They're like, nobody wants to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Everybody's used to texting. It's like so crazy.
Yeah.
I have people yelling at me in text, like I could
Oh
feel
my
them
God.
yelling at me. And
You have to create both and you have to like, do your voice message and a text message. There
I
is
haven't
a
done
little bit
that
of
yet.
conversation.
I'd rather just call you.
Oh, come on. Here you go, Ross. You gotta try
Leave
it.
you, and I have a particular voice that I've been told is very interesting. It's different
Yes, you
than
do.
it's memorable and all that. But wow, I just got to say you're very spectacular. It was such a privilege to say hello to you today.
Thank you, Ross. I
It was
appreciate
a
you.
privilege. So now you're leaving Arizona.
Yeah.
So you didn't sell a house; you just were renting, and now you're leaving, correct?
Uh, yeah, I can tell you a little bit after we get off this thing, after it stops recording,
Oh,
but I'll
I
tell you.
got you. I think I know, but okay. So you're coming back to Miami, which is a big game for Miami. What? This is
Yeah, I love
huge.
Miami. I love Miami
Oh,
so much. So I'm
what's
ready. I
what's
have a huge network there. I have a bunch of friends there. The building that I got is in Edgewater over the water. It's gorgeous.
is that in
It's just
Brickell or no?
beautiful. Edgewater.
Edgewater is a
Uh,
real area.
Br- yeah, Brickell, like Edgewater is like by Brickell. So there's like Coconut Grove, Brickell, Edgewater, and then like North Miami. So it's like in between. It's like right on where it's looking over MacArthur to
Okay,
go to the beach. So it's like over there. It's like right on the water. It's gorgeous.
I love it. I love that. My daughter's been looking in Brickell. You know,
Yeah, Brickell's great. It's just too much hustle and bustle for a 12-year-old. So she needs to be outside of that. It's a little bit more family oriented over there. So it's
I
nicer.
love
So
it. Do you know what school? That's why we ended up buying in Boca
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a
Well,
beautiful
I'm moving
place.
her into school. Yeah.
Any particular
Um,
school you have your eyeballs on?
yeah, it's in Coconut Grove
Great
area.
place. Yep.
Yeah, so we're trying to do paperwork and stuff with them right now. So it's gonna be exciting. All of it's gonna be good.
It's really exciting. What? I mean, I don't know. I think that you're going to really, I think you're going to come to Miami and you're going to blow up. I mean, I'm talking about business, your persona, your profile. You, it's yours to lose. Don't get distracted.
Oh, I
Don't
know.
let
I
us.
lived there for 3 years. 3 years I lived there. I got distracted for 6 months and then I got back into it. So yeah, it's hard. But no, my circle there is really great. Everyone's super business focused. Like on the weekends, we're like working together and going to the beach together. So it's really amazing. But yeah, you can get really tripped up there really fast if you don't have your head on your shoulders for sure.
Well, I find the greatest distraction with men, young men that I'm working with, are women,
Of course.
and but it's also I work with some women as well, and I find their greatest distraction is they're so great, they're so focused, they're so just sort of zoned in, and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm like, what's wrong? And they're like, I think I'm in love, and I'm like, fuck, I feel like I'm like dealing with Hannibal Lecter.
Oh
Where's
my
my
God.
guy? Where's my guy? Where is she? What happened to her? Oh, you don't
Yeah.
know. He's, he just came out of nowhere. I mean, he's hot. I mean, I'm like, oh my God. And
Yeah,
one
but
of the,
like, how is he going to make you a better version of you? That's what I want to know. I'm like, how am I going to elevate in this situation? How am I going to, grow here? Because if you're with somebody that makes you stay the same or makes you go down, like, it's not the right person. You want somebody that freaking inspires you and helps you become a better version of yourself and you showing up more powerfully because there's a new accountability of who you get to show up as,
I do. Do you know the term codependency?
Yes.
Okay, so oftentimes in a relationship, one party becomes the other party. The
Yeah.
woman becomes, all of a sudden she becomes like his girl instead of being who she is and
Yeah.
achieving greatness together, and vice versa. So I have, one of the things, and it's something that really caught my attention earlier in our conversation, was that teaching men to put blinders on when they're doing business. It's a discipline. When
Mm-hmm.
you're doing business, you can't be worried about the plumber who's costing you like, $50 an hour when you make, 600 an hour when you're working.
Yeah.
And you can't be taking calls from the wife every 10 minutes because something is bothering her, unless it's really important.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to have a bigger problem when you don't have money for the mortgage and for the kids' prom dress and for all these different things. Those bills just have a way of keep coming. So
Yeah.
one of the most important things is to try and understand you have a business life, and then you have the rest of life. And it's very important to focus, because if you are a great salesperson, you really have the ability to close deals. You have the ability
Yeah.
to generate X amount of money over a period of time. Then you have to realize you can actually see what your worth is. You can quantify it. See, that's the one
Yeah.
great thing about Wall Street. They taught us about that. They showed us you got to make 300 dials a day. You'll get 100 people on the phone. 90 people are going to tell you to go fuck yourself, lose my number. But there are 10 people that are going to accept your introductory package. And those 10 people are the only thing that matters, not the 90
Yeah.
people that hung up on you or gave you a hard time. Focus on those 10. Out of those 10, 3 will always open. 3 you'll never open. What you do with the next 4 will determine who you're going to be and where you're going to be in this life. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you're worried about some other shit during the day, that throws everything off. It skews everything,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's a problem for not just men, but for women, for just human beings. And having that discipline to say, hey, these hours, this is what I've got to produce. Because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not making 100,000 a month, then I'm swinging below my average. It's not right. I learned that on
Yeah.
Wall Street. I had a woman that turned my world upside down, and next thing you know, I'm worried about her and her friends and this and that. Instead of doing my numbers, I did 3/4 of my numbers, and my numbers
Mm-hmm.
were big. So it's
Yeah.
like $100,000 difference. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
no joke.
Yeah.
And then
Yikes.
then I feel defeated. At the end of the month, say, oh, what's wrong with me? It's really a
Yeah.
simple answer, right? So you alluded to that earlier,
Yeah. You gotta
teaching
stay
women about
focused.
being
That's hard.
consistent,
Yeah.
being
Exactly.
consistent. Like, is this move going to throw you off?
No, it's gonna be everything I need. Right now, being here is throwing me off.
I got it.
I'm in
I
the
get
middle of
it.
the desert. Who wants to be in the desert on purpose? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I understand. See, Scottsdale, Arizona in the summer. I was just in Las Vegas with Brad Lee in
Yeah.
Nevada, staying at the Wynn Hotel, and that's like the desert without casinos.
Yeah.
Arizona, what?
Yes.
There's
Yes.
no reason to
Exactly.
be to friggin' without room service and
Yeah.
great
I just
shows,
think by the
right?
water, healing, water, friends, good
Correct,
people,
correct. Palm
music,
trees.
fun. Yeah, life. Yeah, I want to be back in
Miami's
life.
very sexy.
It is. I
It's a
love Miami.
sexy
It's so
city. It
good.
really, I agree with you. All right. So it's really so nice to meet you, Kayla. I mean, you are spectacular. If there's anything I can do when you come to town, you let me know. I would
Thanks,
love to
man.
chat with you. I guess I have your Instagram. Is that right?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. I'm like, why is my frozen again? There we go.
Hey,
Yeah, no, you have my Instagram, but my team's on there. So let me get your info before we get off. If y'all want to stop the recording. I'm not sure. Let me see.
we don't have to stop. He'll just edit it, right?
Okay,
It,
cool. That works
hold
too.
on. He's making all kinds of hand signals, but you have bright light shining in my face. I'm 5'6". I'm going to give you
Okay,
my
hold
phone
on.
number.
5, 5, 6,
Nelson, make
1.
sure you edit this later. Can you imagine if everybody had my phone number? I'd kill myself.
Cool. I just texted you.
All right.
There you
And
go.
I'm gonna call you. I hope you don't find that to be too intrusive.
I don't mind. Don't if I don't answer, they'll text me because sometimes my phone's on silent when I'm working and I work a lot.
I love that. Great answer.
What's your last name, Ross?
Mandell. M like Mary, A-N like Nancy, D like David, E-L-L. Two S's,
Okay,
two
cool.
L's.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm moving there on the 20th. I'm moving on the 21st. So
That's so cool.
10 days. Be ready. Ready to go.
Now you're moving
Yeah.
into like a condo, right? With Claire, not with the 5 girls, or with the 5 girls.
So I'm bringing them with me to do this event. And then
Okay.
after they work this event with me, we're going to try to find them like places like roommates and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I'm just going to do this event. I'm going to get in there. I'm like, everyone's going to be around. I need them all next to me so I can be next to them. Because if they don't close, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to close it myself.
You the closer? You're like the Devin, you're the closer, right?
Well, yeah, I have closers too, but yeah, no, I'm going to be right there because I'm going to show them what to do because that's the best way to learn. It's like they need to be right here, and I'll be like, oh, no, let me take it over. Hey, what's going on? Like I'll just put on speaker and close it, and I think that's the best way to learn. And I need to be right there. Like I need my
I'm
hands need to be
dying.
in there. So good.
I'm
It's my
dying.
favorite thing
I'm
in the
dying to
world,
hear somebody talk like this. I love this. This
dude.
is
It's
what
so great.
this is my life. This was my life like that,
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
still
but
put
they just need
everybody on
someone to
speaker.
believe in them. If they haven't ever been on a sales floor before, they don't understand. Right. And
No.
so like you literally have to recreate that whole scenario for them so they can hype each other up and be like, all right, where are you at? Where's your numbers at? Like, let's go. Because otherwise they're like, oh, this person hung up on me. I'm like, call the next person. Let's get on it, and
I wrote a book, and this is very apropos, and then we'll go. It's called Rock Solid. It's for sale on my
okay.
site, but I put it's basically my philosophy is how I live life, how I've kept it together through all the trauma and all the I was in prison, all these different things happened to me. Next is my favorite word in the human language, English language. The word next. There's always another man. There's always another opportunity. There's always another client. Next brings me hope. Brings me everything
good.
I've ever anything that's ever given me satisfaction in my life is under the concept of next, because it doesn't matter what your loss is or what your pain is. Next, there's always a better experience or another experience. Sometimes it can't be better, but like if a woman is a 10, there's another woman that's a 10. They can't get better. They could just get different at that level. So next is my favorite word. And for you, it looks like you're about to live your next on September the 20th.
Yeah, my next chapter for sure. It's going to be really beautiful.
Next,
So
you're
I'm
just
excited.
I love it. It's so great to meet you, Kayla, to have you
Great
on
to
my
see you,
show.
Ross.
And we'll have to do this again when you get settled in. And I want to hear more about how things unfold in your life. It's exciting.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Call me and let's set something up for sure.
I'm 100% going to call you. I want you to close me.
All right. Okay, perfect.
All right, take
on
care
new
now.
shoes, right? All right, Ross, I'll see you
On
soon.
anything. I'm up for anything.
All right, there you go. All right, let's go. Let's start with coffee.
There's an expression
All right,
they said
Ross.
to me, I could be pitched. I can be
I love
pitched.
it.
Great salesmen love a
That's
great
good.
pitch.
Yeah, that's
All right.
true.
Take
All
care
right,
now.
man. Have a good day.